Mr. Fix-It here. I'm going to show you how to change out a Taco pump, circulator pump. This one is seized. It's no longer spinning in the inside. It's completely corroded and makes all kinds of noise. It's no longer working. So we're going to show you how you take it apart. The first thing you want to do is you want to isolate the situation. You don't want any water rolling back on your water coming towards you. So you have your isolation valves. Right here you have it's called a ball valve. This is where your water flow is going to go in this direction. So this is your ball valve. We're going to shut it off here. And then we're going to shut off this ball valve for this particular section, isolating this area right here. So then we can focus on this pump. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have no electricity. So we're just going to turn this off here, but I also have it off at the breaker. I have it off in two places. Never trust that just because you've done that, that the electricity is off. Always double check. I always double check. And it may be the OCD in me, but I always do this. Check here. You want to see if you're not getting any power here. So you want to be dead on your lines here. So I'm completely dead and I know I'm safe now. And we're going to go ahead and we can remove the wiring here. And I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the electricity. We're going to disconnect what's called the Romex connector back here. This is that wire, Romex, and this is your connector. We're going to disconnect all this and pull this wiring out, and then we'll move to the pump. Right now I'm trying to change out to another screwdriver. Alright, let's go ahead and take care of getting this bad boy out. Loosens right up. Get it so you can loosen it by hand. The other thing I did is I shut this down a little earlier, like to let it cool down a little bit, because this was hot. It was running for the second zone, so the hot water was blasting through here. So before you pop this thing out and residual water falls out and burns you, I turned off the whole system for a little while and let this cool down. You may want to do that. You may not. You may have a different setup. You won't have to do that at all. This is just this particular setup. This is what we got. A lot of times the shut-off valves are a lot closer to the housing, which is better in a way. Gotta cut my ground still here. It's hard to see. Okay, I'm gonna grab my ground. Getting old sucks because you can't see. I think God does that on purpose, because the older you get, the uglier you get. So therefore you don't want to look at each other anymore in your marriage. So you go blind. So you look at each other and you're still kind of cute, huh? It's kind of like bear goggles, but you don't need them. Just get old and blind. You'll still love your wife. Alright. We are disconnected here from our electricity. Pump is now free to be me. And we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go from the bottom first. I got a little bucket down here and I'm gonna be very careful when I do this, because I don't want to go boom boom. I'll get burnt actually, not boom boom. Alright. You have 4 bolts in total that you're gonna take off here. Alright, so this top one I'm really just holding. I'm holding with my wrench. And we're just gonna disconnect this bolt nice and easy. And be careful, because you are gonna see right here. Let that happen. We want to do it a little at a time. You want that to do that. The other thing we want to be careful for is when I disconnect this pump from here, this is actually holding it, all of this right here. So I don't want it to come down. I got to be careful that I support that. So let's let this drain for a second or 3. I'm going to move to the next section. And I'm not going to bore you with this. I'm going to do this right now and I'll be right back. So when they're all done, that way it's easier.
1.
Okay, all the bolts are on. What did that take? 20 seconds? No, it took a little bit longer. All right, as you can see, like I meant, I don't want this falling down on me. So I want to make sure, because you don't want to bend any of the plumbing, the copper up here. Just a little bit of a weight here can torque something and can cause some great problems for you. But because I'm smart enough to know this stuff, I want to go ahead and do some little jerry rigging here. Yeah, how's that? I'll hold it in place so I can get me the new pump. So we're going to take out the new pump. And with the new pump, you have what's called O-rings. These are called O-rings. You know why? Because they're not square. So they go right in here. Very simple. They fit right in each side of the pump. This doesn't get any easier than this Mr. $1,500 it's going to cost to install a pump guy. You will never work for me, ever. So that goes in together like that. And then your electricity is inside this box here. And I'm using a screwdriver. You bozo. What did I do with my screwdriver? Okay, we can all laugh together. I guess that's staying. It ain't going nowhere. I'm not afraid of it. But keep it, just in case if you ever come across that, make sure you do hold it up in that instant. In this case, we're okay. I can continue on being a goof. Now, when you disassembled the old one, I certainly hope you had enough sense to see how it's wired. Take a picture of it, because if you're not an electrician, you don't know how to do this stuff. Like I can do it blindfolded, but when you take it apart, you have to know where your supply, how these supplies get hooked up again. You have your constant, you have your power, your ground that goes to the box right here at the back. And then you have your hot feed, and then you have your not hot feed, your ground, your negative. So this all simply goes right back in place. $1,500. Oh my goodness. How can I rob somebody today? The reason why I'm saying that is because I literally got somebody today. I'm on vacation. I'm not supposed to be here.
Hilarious. I can't believe it.
And I got and the guy that came out here that was going to do it literally said $1,500 to do this. Now, one thing I almost just did, because I'm talking, is you got to put it in with the water flow. See that arrow? That's going in that direction. So our water flow, see here, everything always has an arrow. Our water flow is going in that direction. So the pump goes back in that direction, not in the direction I was sending it, because I'm talking. Okay, and we're going to do that. Line it right back up. Right back up, and you get your bolts back in place. I think the person who had the hardest job here was the videographer.
Probably. Isn't she cute though?
She is a cute videographer, yes she is. I think I'll keep her 33 years. Yeah. And...
Hey, your big head keeps getting in the way.
Hey, you watch them all. Well, this is...
I'm lucky. Today he's letting me talk.
Let you talk. Oh, that's too funny, Ray. Bolts in. Nuts on. Zippity doo dah, zippity day. And we are going to tighten these bad boys down. Let me tighten them down. Once I get them tightened down, before I put the electrical on, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up the feeds, and we're going to get the water back in here again. And we'll give it a shot. So I'll tighten these down. I'll be right back. All right, so we're all done here. We're all piped back in. It's back to solid. Can go ahead and we can turn our isolation valves back off. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to just wire this back in the way we found it. around here somewhere. Cabin to it.
Go ahead.
Slide this thing back into here. And we'll get this good and tight. Wow, would you look at that? Would you look at that, a handyman putting in a circulator pump for $500. Not 15, and not 500 either. 375. The pump was 150. All right, so I don't care if you charge portal to portal, well, that's 1 hour. Then time here, 2 hours. And then 1 hour miscellaneous, 3 hours. Let's say 3 hours tops. I've only been here an hour and a half. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt of 3 hours it took you to do this. I did it an hour and a half. And these guys want $1,500. My goodness. Sad. All right, let me wire this in because I'll be a minute here though. And I'll be right back. I don't want to bore you with all this gobbledygook.